Welcome back everyone, I'm Roland, a career expert and specialist recruiter with over 25 years in the industry. In today's video, I want to use my experience to help you unravel some of the mysteries of Seek, Australia's largest job platform. But this time, I'm going to be taking things slightly differently. I want to lift the lid on how recruiters view your profile and give you access to the Seek employer backend so you can see exactly how your profile looks from a recruiter's perspective. I want to arm you with the knowledge and insights into why some job seekers get an insane number of interviews through Seek, whilst other job seekers are, well, struggling to ever get noticed. But before we begin, a quick disclaimer. All the candidate profiles you will see in the demo are completely fictitious, and the following are based on my perspective. Please always seek out professional guidance based on your individual needs. Okay, so what we have here is a first glimpse at what a recruiter will see when they basically access the employment section or the employer section of the Seek platform. So this will give them access immediately to their current live jobs, and for this one we've clicked onto the executive assistant role, and we'll also show them the different applicants coming through, basically a quick snapshot of each application. This is what we refer to as a application tracking system, where the recruiter can keep tabs on exactly what candidates come through, they can score them, they can make notes on the application, and basically provide candidates or add candidates to their shortlists, reject candidates, all the different areas that you'd expect, and be able to action each candidate profile. But what I want to draw your attention to most of all, and in the first instance, is here, where it says total applications. Now for the executive assistant role, this one has 210 applications. Why is that important? Well, I can tell you, recruiters are usually time poor, so they need to work through as many applications as possible in the shortest amount of time, especially if they're dealing with multiple jobs. So if a recruiter, for example, has 5 or 10 vacancies listed at any one time, chances are that total application number is going to swell. They'll be looking at over 1,000, 1,500 applications. So they need to get through all of these candidates as quick as possible, and you can be absolutely guaranteed they are not going to look on every single profile. They are not going to read through every single CV, nor are they going to read through every single cover letter. They are going to, in the first instance, skim read. They're going to build up a very, very fast shortlist of candidates that they will then investigate further. Right, so before we delve too deeply into how we're going to screen some of the candidates, or how a recruiter will quickly screen or screen out candidates, I want to remind ourselves of the job that's being advertised. So the position we have is an executive assistant. It's based in Sydney, New South Wales, and the salary is $70,000 to $80,000 base. So once again, it's an executive assistant, Sydney, New South Wales, salary $70,000 to $80,000. Once we have this information in our head, we can then get a better understanding of how a recruiter will start to screen in and screen out candidates that have applied through the platform. And they're going to do this pretty quickly. We're going to analyze the candidate a bit more deeper, but just keep in mind that they're going to have literally seconds on each profile to decide whether they click or move on to the next one. So if we use Evelyn Wright as the first example. Now Evelyn appears to be a customer services consultant, or customer services retail representative at Coles Australia. She has filled in her screening questions, which say that she requires sponsorship, as we can see here. 15 years experience, and salary is $35,000. On the bottom you'll see some key skills that she's listed, which are customer retail, sales management, MS Word, and teamwork and support. So look, okay skills, Evelyn, we haven't got a problem now, but I'm just a bit concerned the salary isn't right. You require sponsorship, and the position title that you've listed is customer services. So if we go back to the advert, looking for an executive assistant, Sydney, New South Wales, salary $70,000 to $80,000 base. Now, when you think again how many jobs we've got to do, or how many applications we've got to deal with, which is 210 applications, you know, you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar that Evelyn won't be being called for this particular role. So moving on from Evelyn, let's move on to the next candidate, which is Jason Lee. Now, Jason Lee, he's put his position title down as project manager working for Wilson Parking. So I think you can agree already we've got a bit of a mismatch. He lives in Melbourne. His salary he's put here is $130,000. So he's a project manager working for Wilson Parking, looking for $130,000. To be honest, I don't know why he's applied for an executive assistant role. He's probably got his reasons, but right now we really haven't got the time to be calling him or finding out or probing data. So we're now going to move on to the next candidate, which is Maya Shamtel. Now Maya looks quite interesting. She's holding the position of a senior executive assistant at the Department of Human Resources, which is a big tick. She lives in Sydney, New South Wales and has a degree in commerce. Again, big ticks. Preferred work rights in Australia, she's a permanent or has permanent work rights, no restrictions. She has 8 years experience and her expected salary is $130,000. So as much as we were getting excited by Maya's profile, the salary will be a sticking point. Now I hear the question about salary lots and lots online and why you should still call a candidate even if their salary is a higher level. But let's just recap. We are dealing with this. An executive assistant, salary 70 to 80,000 base. Now we've got 200 odd applications to get through. And within them, we're really looking for people who have the closest fit. Maya, chances are, will be added to a shortlist or added to our shortlist. But if we're going to find 20 other candidates that fit the profile more closely and within the salary bracket, they will be called first. And Maya's CV or application will be just sidelined for the time being. Next, we're going to move on to Simone Wilson. Now, Simone Wilson, she's got the position title of Executive Assistant and Personal Assistant, which is fantastic. She works at the ABC Group. She holds lives in Sydney, New South Wales, and holds a diploma. Permanent work rights, number of years in administration, 3 years. Her expected annual salary is $90,000. So we can see from there she's still above the target range, but unlike Maya, who wanted $130,000, $90,000 could be a bit more reasonable and something we could work with, and maybe the employer could have a bit of extra budget that could stretch that extra sort of 10%. So Simone is hitting the mark with her position title. She's hitting all the questions. She's listed for her key skills, communication skills, management reports. She's put Excel, MYOB Cloud, which is the accounting software. So there's a lot of pluses. So absolutely, Simone, we're going to be calling you. We're going to add her to a shortlist. And as you can see already, we've put 5 stars against her name. We'll click the shortlist and we'll be giving her a call very shortly after this process. Next up, we have Chloe Kim. Now, Chloe has listed her details as being self-employed. She holds a PhD Masters, which is fantastic. $170,000 for her salary, and she requires sponsorship. So I think you can imagine what's going to happen next. We're going to move straight on to the next candidate. Next up, Victoria Nicole. Now, she has her details as a senior administrator at 7 Media Group. She's got a degree in business economics, which is great. Salary, she's put here $80,000, 6 years experience, and her experience includes personal assistance, project management, Salesforce, and diary management. So anyone that recruits in this space will know that they are the key elements we're looking for an executive assistant or personal assistant. She may or may not hit the criteria, but her CV is definitely worth a deeper investigation. So Victoria, we're going to give her 4 stars, and then we're going to analyse her CV in more detail and hopefully give her a call. So that was the first page of candidates. Now, I've spent several minutes working through those. Chances are a recruiter is only going to spend probably a minute, and they'll be working through these very quickly, hitting shortlist, not suitable, and just basically minimizing the amount of candidates they're going to be recalling. I also want to show you something else on this module, which we will need to come to very shortly, which is how we sort applications. Here you can see we can sort by newest application, which this is already, or we can change to relevance. Now relevance is probably the key factor here, because this is the next stage of the process to make sure that you are coding your profile correctly so that it appears on the top 1 or 2 pages of the Seek listing when they click relevance. Here is where the games begin. Now if a recruiter has got multiple vacancies running at any one time and they've been time poor, then chances are there's going to be a build up of applications. As you can see from our profile here, we have got 210 applications so far. Now let's put ourselves in a recruiter's shoes. They're running late, the job's been running for a few days, and they haven't had a chance to go through the candidate applications as of yet. So what are they going to do? They're going to open the profile, they're going to go to sort by, and they're going to press relevance, hoping that this is going to pull out a list that they can at least get cracking on without having to sift through every single application. And what happens when they change the sort by to relevance? Well, let's take a look. We are going to lose some of the forerunners, such as Evelyn and Jason Lee, who applied because they were the newest people to apply. And then once it's sorted by relevant, you can see straight away the whole pack has been reshuffled. Simone Wilson now appears at the top of the pile. We've got other candidates that have appeared, new candidates coming through. We have got Maya Chantel from the original list. Basically, we've got a much more concise first page, and this chances will run through to pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where the more relevant, those candidates that have profiled or coded their profile to be more relevant to those type of jobs are going to appear at the front page. So if your profile is on page 7, 8, 9, 10, there's a very good chance that the recruiter is going to completely miss you. They're not going to call you, and they're not going to sift through that far behind the pack. I'm hoping that's now given you a bit of an insight into what recruiters can see when they're skim reading through the number of applications and the different profiles on the Seek employer platform. So next I thought we'd jump into the candidate module, which is basically the module that you are accessing to program your data and to make sure Seek can find your profile, and will be the same profile that recruiters will see when you're applying to the different jobs on Seek. So jumping on from here, if we move straight out and we go into the candidate module access area here, which has already been set up under Simone. So if we click on Simone's profile, and it's going to take us through the various layers of the front end of the candidate user module. So in here you're going to see obviously Simone Wilson, the name, and I'll take you through each of the sections so we can get a better idea on how you can perhaps, or give you some ideas on actually how to program and improve your profile ranking. So first of all, we're going to click on the profile visibility. Now profile visibility isn't so much related to how you're going to rank in relevance to job applications. The profile visibility is where you either allow or disallow access to recruiters or employers to be able to search your profile when you haven't actually advertised, when you haven't actually applied for the job. So when a recruiter advertises a role, they are allowed to browse candidates on the database, the Seek database, and here you're going to give them access or deny whether you want your profile to be publicly reviewed. Now this has some benefits and also a few negatives. So the benefits are, of course, you can be viewed by different employers at any time. The negative is if your employer also has access to the Seek database, they potentially could find your profile. So do keep that in mind. Read through the different areas, whether you want standard, limited or hidden access, and just tread a little bit carefully to make sure that you are aware of what privacy you need to control. Stepping out of the profile visibility settings, we're going to move down the page to the different areas that Seek is going to ask us to work through. The next up is verified identity, which can be useful if you're applying to government roles. Then we have a profile strength indicator, which will tell you how much you still need to complete of your profile. As you can see here, it's asking us to add a license. Then we're going to move further down to what I say is two of the key essential areas that you are going to have to use and improve to increase your profile strength and ranking on Seek. Seek is scraping the content from your profile and also from your career history, and then we'll use various algorithms to rank that against the titles or positions you're applying for. So going back to our example of the executive assistant, the content here you can pretty much see for yourself. This person's role, Simone's role, her current role is executive assistant. So because her position title automatically matches with the job that she is applying for, her rankings will jump up the pile. She's also holding a position of senior personal assistant, and the content that she has increased or included in here is very much aligned to the job description. So when we talk about applicant tracking software or applicant tracking systems, this is basically what we're talking about here, is how this content is aligned. And also where you have the current position of executive assistant, this is going to play not only a key role for Seek, the algorithms, but also from a manual perspective when recruiters are visually seeing the profile. So if we go back to the original what a recruiter can see in that module, we look here. So Evelyn Wright, her position is listed as a customer services consultant or customer service representative. You can see immediately how a recruiter is going to glance over. They're going to glance over Jason Lee, the project manager. They're going to look at Maya Chantel, as we discussed earlier on. But Simone Nielsen, her profile is popping out straight away. We can see straight away her current position title is an executive assistant, which is the same as her profile. That's what she's coded on there. And she's ticking all the boxes already. So that is the number one tip I can give you. If you really need your profile to stand up, make sure your current position is titled to your target audience. Just to repeat, your current position needs to be targeted to your audience, otherwise it will reduce your rankings on the platform. So the next part of the module is quite self-explanatory. We have the education section there, licenses and certifications. And then we move on to the skills area. Now the skills area again will have some play within the algorithms, so it's worth taking the time to code those correctly. Try and avoid too many soft skills and include some of the more technical areas. I do believe that Seek rates technical more higher than some of the soft skills, so try and have a good balance. And then following on from there we have the languages section, and then we have the resume area to upload your resume. Now, one of the questions I get asked quite regularly is whether you should send your or attach your resume in Word, whether it should be Google Docs, or whether it should be a PDF. My recommendation would be a PDF file, purely because it protects the format of the CV across various operating systems, and also it's very, very ATS friendly. So I'd recommend using a PDF wherever possible. So there you have it. If you want your profile to rank higher on Seek, you need to think more like a recruiter and target your profile more effectively. Use matching position titles where possible. Don't forget to rework your profile content and think about Seek's ATS systems. Start thinking about how to code your skills correctly so you'll shoot up the relevance ranking. Now look, these changes won't necessarily guarantee you a phone call, but they will definitely go a long way to increasing your chances of your resume being opened and viewed. Now don't forget, if you like this video and want to see more, please press the like button below and subscribe. And if you need help with your resume, LinkedIn or career, just drop us a line. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and we look forward to hearing from you.